All right. I wish I'd done a really funny story now, but that's okay. It's all good. Hopefully my voice holds up. I actually jumped out of a plane a couple days ago, and so I've been fairly hoarse over the last couple days because I've been shouting for like 60 seconds on the whole downward spiral to Earth. So, oh yeah, great. 2.5 years ago, I had sold my home, and my best friend, one of my good friends, said to me, he said, "Congratulations, Andy, you're now homeless." And I looked and I was like, no, I'm now home free. I was about to embark on an adventure, and I had no idea where it would take me, but I knew I was going, one way or the other. But before I get there, I want to go back a few years before that. I was doing work that I really disliked. I had no idea how to move forward. I felt like I was just going to have to stare at these gray cubicle walls for the rest of my life. And I was like, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. There's got to be more to it than this. So at first I was chasing things outside me. I was like, oh, if I just built a business, maybe I would have enough money and I'd be able to leave my IT job behind and I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. And I did that, and that wasn't fulfilling at all. It was more responsibility. I was like, well, maybe if I had my dream home and I was surrounded by nature, I was on a pond, maybe that would just give me the peace and I would be able to handle the stress of my IT job. And after a little while, I actually got that, and then I was like, oh, now I have 2 houses, more responsibility. What the heck am I doing? It's not where I want to be going. So eventually I said, okay, I've got to stop chasing things outside myself. And I started to look inside. I was like, I got to figure out who the heck I am. I've only had one career. I only picked it based on getting a job and making decent money. I had no idea if I'd actually be good at it or if I would enjoy it. So I was like, I've got to spend some time and figure out how I can make this work. But I had no idea. Unfortunately, there's no career 101 course or how to find work you enjoy. Nobody teaches us that crap. So unfortunately, I had spent like 6 months, 8 months, and I was trying to learn the components. I was reading books, I was listening to audiobooks, I would journal, and I would come home at nighttime and just answer all kinds of questions about myself to really try to figure out who the heck am I and what do I want to be doing with the rest of my life. And so at that time I started to learn, okay, if you can combine something that you're really good at with something that comes natural to you, something that you're interested in, you can start to get closer to what it is that you might want to be doing that would be fulfilling and happy for you. So one of my passions was personal development. It's something that I geek out on. I just enjoy learning about it and experimenting with it. I'm always writing goals and trying to just improve my life in general. And then I had no idea what I was naturally good at. So I had to talk to my friends, and I asked them, I was like, can you tell me what you guys see that I might be missing that I'm naturally good at that I have no idea? And they're like, well, Andy, everybody thinks that you're pretty wise. We always enjoy coming to talk to you. You give good advice, and for the most part, we feel very good after we chat with you. Is one of your strengths. So I said, okay, so that's something, but I still had no idea how I would put it all together. And then about a month or so go by, and somebody mentioned the term life coaching, and it just caught my attention. I was like, what is that? And only because I had stopped hating where I was, I stopped hating my job, and I was now using it as leverage to be able to give me time to work on myself and figure out what I wanted. Only because I had done all that homework did that term even catch my ear. Otherwise, I would have been involved in a conversation about hating my job, or even if I heard the term, it still wouldn't have meant anything because I hadn't done any homework on myself to figure out what I wanted to do. So as soon as they mentioned it, I went home and I started looking up this profession. I was like, what is this? And right away I was like, wow, what a good combination for personal development and these strengths of wanting to help people, listening and enjoying personal development, helping people improve their lives anyway. So okay, maybe I can get this to work. So I wasn't sure how, so I went to my work and I was like, instead of spending my IT training budget this year on an IT program, can you pay for my coaching training instead? It's across the country. I'll pay for the travel to get there, as long as you pay for the course, and that'll help me. And then when I come back, I'll coach inside my company. So it was a win-win-win. Everybody was winning in this scenario. So sure enough, they said yes. Within a month later, I was flying across the country to attend my coaching training. And when I came back, I started coaching inside my work. And I remember one of the first clients that I was coaching, after a couple months together, he said to me, he's like, Andy, my wife paused the TV yesterday. And for the first time that I can remember, she looked at me and she said, I want you to know that I'm proud of you. And at that split second, I couldn't catch my breath. It was just really intense moment, just very, very short, but it was like, I could feel it. And I thought about it after, I was like, wow, I found work that really takes my breath away. It's like, what a gift after going through years of struggle, chasing the things that I had no idea why I was chasing them, and eventually starting to learn more about myself. And it's like, okay, now I'm feeling like I've got work that's really lights me up, that I get energized by instead of drained by. And so fast forward about a year and a half, I was doing this in my IT job, about 50% IT, 50% coaching. And then I came so close to getting an HR position where I could do this full time, but at the last minute, the budget was pulled and the position was disappeared. And eventually, I had to go back to my IT job full time and stop coaching inside my company. So I was devastated. I was so close. I had what I wanted. I almost was doing it full time, and I was like, I had no idea where to go next and what to do next. So 2.5 years ago is when my friend told me I was homeless. That's because I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to go on, I was listening to Digital Nomads and learning a lot about that and wanting to live in different places, learn about different cultures, travel, and just live more for experience as opposed to the next gadget that I could buy or anything like that. And so I was starting to downsize my life. I sold my home, and within 6 months or so, I started selling all my possessions, and I was telling my best friend, I was like, I'm going to take a year off my work, and I'm going to build my coaching business full time. And he's like, yeah, go for it. He said, but you do IT support, so maybe you could ask your company to work remotely. I was like, okay, I never thought about that. That's a really good idea. So I went to approach my work, and I was like, I'm going to take a year off work, a year's leave of absence, and build my coaching practice, or you can allow me to work remotely, and I'll do both. And they thought about it. They went up a couple of levels, and about a month and a half later, they said, okay, you can work remotely. I was like, wow, I can't believe it was that easy. I thought for sure I'd have to take a year off and do all this other stuff. And they're like, no, you can work remotely. They had no idea I was going to choose a different country. So at the time, I was learning a lot about digital nomads, and Portugal was a big place, and I wanted to escape the Canadian winter. So the weather here in Portugal was beautiful. I was like, yeah, that signed me up. And so within a couple months, I gave up my apartment, and I flew to Portugal and landed, and I even scored a kick-ass apartment on a resort in Albufeira, where I first moved to Portugal. And I was like, I was so high on life, feeling like, oh my God, I finally made this huge goal happen over the last year and a half. I've been working towards it, and it was fantastic. It was truly a really good time in my life. And then 6-8 months later, I realized things are a lot harder. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I started to get fearful and doubtful. Could I actually pull this off? It was the first time trying to do a business of this sort, and just working a lot of hours. And eventually, I started to burn out. And so by this time, I went to Morocco. I did a little bit of traveling. I was like, okay, when I come back to Lisbon, I'm going to jump in again and see how it goes. And I came back to Lisbon, jumped in, and just last month, I was able to say goodbye to my IT job. And so I put in my notice, let them know I'm leaving, and just a month ago, so now I coach full time. And today is actually 2-year anniversary of when I landed in Portugal 2 years ago. So very fitting to give this talk, and just some thank you. Just some lessons in case anybody's in that situation where you're doing something that doesn't really suit you, or you don't want to be doing, and you're looking for something different, but you're not sure how to make that happen. The first thing is stop resisting where you are. Use it and leverage it. You're there for a reason. You got skills, you got experience, expertise to move forward. Just leverage where you are and start taking your time and start learning about yourself. Go inside, figure out who you are. Don't chase things that other people are chasing or that you see on TV. Just figure out what it is that you really want, because it's going to be a long journey, and it's much better that you start from a good foundation. Also, talk to your friends. They can see things that you can't see. If my friend never mentioned to work remotely, I would have just took a year off and never had the opportunity to be able to work remotely and travel. So it's much better when you just talk to your friends. They can give you ideas that you can't see. And then make sure everything is win-win. If you're going to make a big decision and you're going to ask for something, try to get a win-win-win so that it's much easier to get a yes. And every time you get a yes, you're getting closer to what you want. And finally, just know that it's going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. It's not a straight line. It's the charts that we see online are just like a straight line of success. That's not the way it goes at all. There's going to be a lot of fears and doubts, and a roller coaster, and up and down. But when I think about it, my life before this, going on this journey over the last couple of years, was pretty routine. It was just really flat line, little mundane, and just not really exciting me. At least not what I wanted to be having in my life. And now, and since the last couple of years of doing this journey, it's a lot more highs and lows. But that's really the heartbeat. It's like, you know, the heart, when the heart stops, we're flatline. We don't want that. We want to have excitement and energy and be pursuing things that matter to us and something that we care about. So hopefully this talk gave you some ideas and some insights and maybe some inspiration and strategies to be able to transition from where you are and maybe to find something that you really enjoy doing and start pursuing something that you really care about. So thanks for your time, and I hope to hear your story sometime soon. Thank you.